But we are going to speak first with someone who we have just asked to join us on very short notice, and I'm very grateful she has been able to get to us. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former U.S. presidential candidate. Secretary Clinton, I know this is a very tough night, and I know this is very short notice. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. It's a really sad night, and I know it's sad for people who followed Justice Ginsburg, but I hope every American knows that she was a historic, courageous person who moved our country forward in all the right ways.
When it came to the choice to put her on the Supreme Court, there's been so much good storytelling around that decision in your husband's presidency in 1993 to elevate her. She had been on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. She was put there by Jimmy Carter. She was 13 years into that tenure. She was not expected to be a front runner for a Supreme Court seat until she had her interview at the White House, whereupon she apparently hit it out of the park, and there was no chance that she wasn't going to get that seat. She went on to be confirmed by an overwhelming margin, over 90 votes to put her on the court. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of her getting that seat? Only the second woman ever to get a Supreme Court justice, to become a Supreme Court justice at the time she was appointed.
Well, I had known Ruth for a number of years, going back into the 1980s. But more than knowing her from afar and admiring her personally, I knew of her work. And so when the opening occurred and everyone was making their lists, I said to my husband, someone you should definitely look at is Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And of course, he'd heard of her. He'd met her casually. But it was exactly as you describe it. I was quite enthusiastic about her potential nomination. I thought that she was a historic figure. She made a huge difference in the law, first as a lawyer, then on the circuit court. And when she came to be interviewed, she was told that it would be kind of a casual interview on a Sunday afternoon to not let anybody know, because those things have to be kind of kept close hold until the decision is made. And when she came in, Bill knew that she was coming, so he got out of his sort of Sunday football watching clothes and put on a suit and tie, and she came in very casually dressed. And at first she was a little embarrassed about, coming to the White House and seeing the president when she was not properly attired, but they just hit it off, and they had an extraordinary conversation. Bill had taught constitutional law years before, and they just dove into the Constitution and to, the role of the court in a way that I wish could have been seen by the entire country. It was a master class.
We're showing some pictures right now on the screen of you and Justice Ginsburg together. There was, around the time of the Merrick Garland nomination, after Justice Scalia died, who, of course, was Justice Ginsburg's very close friend on the court, despite their ideological distance. They shared a love of opera, and they got along, and they enjoyed dissenting against each other's opinions. When Justice Scalia died and the Republicans made that decision that they would not allow President Obama's nominee to even be considered in the Senate. And that is how, after that election, we ended up in 2016, your election, we ended up with Justice Gorsuch instead of Justice Merrick Garland. I think a lot of the emotion around that in the country was in part that the Republicans and Mitch McConnell had done something that really did feel like it broke the system, that really did feel like just a small d anti-democratic assault on the process. But it also felt like a feminist catastrophe in you not becoming the first woman president, despite Justice Ginsburg's fervent belief that you would be. That was part of how she explained that she didn't retire during the Obama years. but also then for that Supreme Court seat to go, and for the court to go that much further to the right, and then for us all to be praying for Justice Ginsburg's health in a way we never had before because of the balance of the court. It all just feels mixed together with so much emotion beyond the politics here. I have to ask if you feel any of that yourself, or if you're too close to it to see it some other way that all of us feel it.
No, I'm devastated by this, Rachel. Just losing her is such a massive hole in, my, young adulthood, my becoming a lawyer, both practicing and teaching law, looking up to her, following her career. But much more than that, it is a devastating loss for justice and equality. What Ruth Bader Ginsburg did was to make it abundantly clear that the Constitution had to explicitly, wherever possible, be interpreted as providing for the equal rights of men and women. She was extremely clever in the way that she began her litigation march, because she brought cases on behalf of men. She understood that, there were certain assumptions in the law that favored or disfavored men as well as women, and she had the brilliant insight that she could demonstrate the lack of equality under law for women by litigating on behalf of men. I'm not sure many other people would have ever really understood that. And now with her loss, it is not only a personal loss, but it's a real threat to the steady march toward progress that we need to continue. This is the 100th year of the anniversary of women getting the right to vote. It took, many more years before there were legislative protections for women of color. And we're still fighting those battles. And Ruth understood this. Her great gift was not only as a brilliant lawyer and litigator and judge, but she was such a warm and understanding human being. And she really felt the loss of respect and rights that not just her clients, but women and really anyone who appeared before her in any form could feel that she felt compelled to try to remedy.